Thank you all for being here today. We're really excited on behalf of REV Entertainment to come back to the area. Everyone okay? We're really excited to come back to the area and speak with you today. Today we're joined by Mayor Tom Arsenault, Councilwoman Ursula Bowman, and President of REV Entertainment, Sean Decker. They are all going to give brief remarks, and then we will go into a Q&A session. I'll give you guys time to move your microphones because they're going to take the Q&A from the table, and then we'll also have time for one-on-ones. So with that, Mayor Arsenault.
Thank you, Madison, and thank you all for being here. REV Entertainment is currently in ongoing discussions with the City of Shreveport about a potential development opportunity in Shreveport at the Fairgrounds. The city is committed to continuing work with REV Entertainment to build a state-of-the-art multi-purpose sports and entertainment development with the ballpark serving as the anchor to the project. Both parties are working toward a plan that is beneficial to the city, which includes additional work on an economic impact and feasibility study. We plan to provide for more in-depth update once we have completed the initial feasibility study, which should be begun very shortly. So we're still in ongoing discussions with REV. They're going very well. I am cautiously optimistic, and we hope that we'll have some further good news for you in the near future.
Good morning. I'm Ursula Bowman, City Councilwoman, District G. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. And this project has been on for a while, and I'm very excited to see this happen and to work with REV Entertainment. Welcome. It's a lot will be going on, and it'll be great. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I'm usually really excited to be the shortest one to speak, but that may be difficult. They were very brief. So I thought it would be great for us to talk just really briefly about kind of where we've been since we were in this room since last October and kind of go through it. And the truth is most of the work that's been going on isn't exactly the exciting things to talk about with the news. It's things like looking at sanitary lines and stormwater and traffic and transportation and all of those things. And yet those are obviously integral and super key to any of these types of projects. So we've been working extensively with the city office on all of those type things and what that could look like, frankly, to get to where we are. I know the number one question is typically, what's it going to cost and how are we going to pay for it? And so I have some bad news. We don't have all those answers today. Where we are today is finalized with a conceptual drawing on the plans. You can see the multiple phases that we've envisioned. And I have promised the mayor this trip that in the next 2 weeks we will have our first budget for the ballpark, and so we're really excited about that and to get that over. So, and then from there, all the work goes. I think beyond all of the things I've already mentioned, we've also spent a lot of time putting together data that will help this feasibility study that the city's commissioning and making sure we're providing as much info for that, because I know how important it is for them to check through this and do all their transparency work. So we're thrilled to be back here. We're really excited. We're as excited as ever. And the last 6 months of work and really since last summer it just continues. So thanks a lot for being here. I look forward to talking more.
If you would like to move your mics to the table, we'll move into the question and answer portion.
Hey guys, welcome to KTAL News Now Digital Streaming Center. So as you just heard, a few brief updates in regards to what the future plans are for the REV Entertainment ballpark that will be coming to the Shreveport area. You heard a little bit from Tom Arsenault and also the REV Entertainment spokesperson. Now they're taking questions, so we're going to go ahead and take a little listen into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So phase one is the ballpark, a mixed-use development in right field of like a restaurant and an entertainment venue, if you will. a plaza in center field that could be used for public events and private events as well, and a hotel is in phase one. Phase two takes a much deeper dive into work that we've started with the State Fair to address more of those needs and create venues and other opportunities for that. And frankly, if I'm being completely honest, phase three are still just boxes on the page. Phase three, what we've learned in doing these projects is you do one piece at a time. When you try to do everything at once, it doesn't get done. So what we've looked at is a three-phased plan, and I assure you that much will change over time outside after you get phase one. Typically, the first phase shows you what the next great things are to offer and to bring to the community. But that's a breakdown of kind of the three-phase plan that we've shared with the city today. Thank you.
You mentioned this morning that your company manages, I believe, 4 of the facilities. Did you develop any of those facilities?
Yes, specifically in Arlington, Texas, REV Entertainment has booked everything and handled the renovation of Choctaw Stadium, the former home of the Texas Rangers. Was heavily involved in the design of Yeah, absolutely. Was heavily involved in the design of both the ballpark and all of the development around it. And then at both of our properties in North Carolina currently, have worked on multiple renovations and additions in the community, and we're currently worked on and announced another project in Leland, North Carolina, with the stadium and a full development around it.
When you have a stadium proposal like this, how often is there an inhabitant already secured for it? And how often do you look at this as we build a stadium and it seems to come?
I don't understand the first part of the question.
Is there a tenant already in the baseball stadium?
Yeah, so what we will either buy and move a team here or create and own and operate a team here.
In what capacity? Are we talking independent league? Because affiliated leagues, we know we're having a contraction and moving closer to the Major League Baseball franchises. So what kind of baseball are we looking at?
Yeah, most likely independent, like a high-level independent baseball is where we would start. It's not to say that we would rule out the opportunity to be affiliated, and we'll design the stadium to be of specs that we could absolutely host an affiliated team, but our intention is to start with an independent team.
With that said, that usually doesn't bring, what you would think of like what Frisco has, the ballpark they have, and the affiliation to watch guys go on the way up the Major League ladder. So how much of it is the other aspects of the entire phase operation is going to be the attraction more than the baseball team? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, two things. One, I think the landscape has changed significantly when you make the Frisco comparison. I think that was absolutely right 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. But the contraction not to bore the whole crowd, because I don't know how many people want to talk about minor league contraction today, but as the minor leagues have contracted, what we've seen is an increased focus and an increased demand on independent baseball. And so I think that that's absolutely on the way up, without question. But no doubt, if all we do is create a baseball field that has 70 baseball games a year, we have absolutely failed. And that's not our commitment to the community. That's not our commitment to leadership. Our commitment is to create a 365-day-a-year destination that is transformational to the region.
I had season tickets to the Captains when I first came to Shreveport, and I watched attendance decline for the Captains, and ultimately that team failed. Since that time, the population of our city has gone down. So what's going to be the attraction today to get people to come out in the heat and watch baseball when you can watch it on TV every night? When I came here in 77, you couldn't watch it every night. So how are we going to sell baseball now with it on TV every night, a failed team before, and a smaller population?
Absolutely. A number of things to address that. One, we're going to try to throw a great party and a baseball game is going to break out. So that's first and foremost for us. This is going to be about family entertainment at a high quality and a high level of value to get folks in. We're going to do a lot more than just baseball. We're also, again, it's going to be a lot more than just the 70 days, but on the 70 days you come for baseball, it's our commitment to have a world-class experience when you're there. And, I can't speak to, many of you know, I started my career as an umpire, and Shreveport was in the league, and I umpired games at Fairgrounds Field, and proud to do it. since then, that's all I can speak of is what that was there. I can tell you at our places what we currently draw, how we look to program it, and that content there, and we're really excited about getting folks out.
Mayor, I didn't get to this today, so let me ask you. We're looking at Fairgrounds Field out that window now. You canceled the contract for the demolition, as I appreciate it. What is the status of tearing that facility down?
It's in limbo at the moment because we were incurring more delay damages under the contract while we waited for the outcome of the litigation, and that's a decision yet to be made.
Is the litigation still pending?
Litigation is still pending.
And is that a deal breaker if that stadium is not torn down for REV Entertainment?
Well, it would be a deal breaker, but I am 100% confident that if we do the deal with REV Entertainment, that stadium will be demolished.
No chance of that being saved from this point forward, in your opinion?
Not if we do the REV transaction, no.
Mayor, on to this.
Yes, ma'am.
Obviously, this requires a good bit of real estate. How will this get past the state fair?
Actually, the plans that they have, and I think Sean should really address this because their plans have all included the continuation of the state fair and the enhancement of the state fair. So this is not a replacement for the state fair, but exactly how that fits into the master plan is better for Sean to address than for me to address. But we're in no way evicting the state fair.
Yeah, just to speak to that, the State Fair and the Independence Bowl and Hearst Coliseum are absolutely critical to the success of what we're talking about. Our very first meeting here was with Chris, who I know is here today, and Tommy. What they are doing is world class, and it's also a demand driver for the multi-use development that we have. We also want the stadium to be an asset for the State Fair. So it's 100% our intent to work with and cooperate with and be excited to partner with in every way possible.
Sorry if I missed this earlier, maybe a little late. As far as Hearst Coliseum, obviously restored, a great tenant there with mud bugs, tenants through the roof. What are the plans to kind of accentuate what they've already got going and building on that?
Yeah, so I can speak from our side that we are unbelievably impressed with what Tommy and the Mudbugs team have done over there. To see what they're doing in that facility is unbelievable. What we're hoping to do is to add things for their fans to come come early, stay late, and have assets around the facility. And I know I obviously don't want to speak for the mayor or the councilwoman, but in continuing to partner with those guys and improve their facility is been mentioned many times and is key to this conversation as well.
Sorry about that. You know, I probably yelled at you, since you were squeezing us many times today, I guess. But Savannah Bananas, are out there as an independent league, kind of a different kind of baseball type entity that has captured the imagination of fans everywhere they've gone. Is that something, not necessarily a carbon copy of, but is that something that would be considered for this ballpark?
Well, let me just say we're really fortunate that Jesse Cole and the Savannah Bananas team are friends of ours. We've talked to them quite a bit and are looking to have them play at a lot of our venues in the future if they'll accept the opportunity. So getting them specifically to play here would absolutely be a goal of ours. And doing things like what they do on a different scale. They have done an incredible job, as you noted. There's a few things that they do that make it challenging in the level of baseball that we want to play. And so I don't think we're going to have a breakdancing first base coach and some of those things. I don't know that I can get my players to hand out flowers between innings necessarily, but there's no question so much of what we're talking about in creating a great atmosphere and entertainment. There's no question that the Bananas have done that better than anybody, and you'll certainly see some aspects of that.
My question was kind of similar to Tim. So what do we have in place? Are you going to present something that will probably reach out to major league, colleges, universities, or either artists that do concerts to try to make sure that we continue to generate those funds and draw new facilities? Yeah,
absolutely. If there's anything that REV Entertainment has a strong track record in, it's what you alluded to. We hosted the country's largest college baseball tournament in Arlington, Texas a few weeks ago with over 52,000 fans for a college baseball tournament, which had never been done outside of Omaha or a conference championship. So the concerts, those schemes, I want to be realistic on the concert aspect. There are obviously multiple arenas in the market and things like that. So the concert piece less, lifestyle events, youth events, college sports, that's what's most realistic, and that's where we'll really target. Not to mention private events, birthday parties, those type of things as well.
So can we steal the big event from Arlington?
Well, I can assure you this, college baseball will be key to what we do here. We've only got to talk very briefly with LSUS and Centenary on what that is, but getting them to play annually at the facility in some capacity, we would love that.
Mayor Ursula, one more thing. Can you pledge today you will not go to the voters to ask for a tax increase to fund this project?
I can.
You can.
I can.
It would be funded somehow other than a tax increase.
No general obligation bonds, no property taxes.
Sean, what is it about this community that attracted you guys and has kept you through one administration into a second administration to want to keep this thing going forward?
Absolutely. We have loved this region, not to make it about me, but going back to the nostalgia of coming to the fairgrounds and going to Fairgrounds Field, to the fact that I make this drive across 20 many times a year and see this. Obviously, if you're coming from the west, I think most people that come to the region, this is the front door to the city, and I am familiar, like so many of you are, on how great this has been and how great baseball was here. You talk about the size and whether it's declined or not. It's drastically larger than many communities we operate in. In North Carolina, Kinston, North Carolina, for instance, we have over less than 24,000 people that live in that community. So the size of the region, the success it's had in the past, and the opportunity for the future combined make it a really exciting project for us.
Hey, Sean, I don't know which phase it is, but there's mention of a hotel. Okay, is that, who would own the hotel and who would own the land underneath the hotel?
Yeah, great question. So realistically, the hotel, what we learned, typically speaking, in the first drawing, there's actually a drawing up here that's older, this overall concept over here. We had originally envisioned the hotel being connected to or adjacent to the ballpark. Some of you know, and many of you participated, we've had 100 meetings, maybe too many over the last 6 months, but quite a few. And the one thing we kept hearing was that there was a great hotel need closer to the hospital district. And so what we did on the drawing that is right here in phase one is we took that concept and we moved the hotel closer that direction. So assuming the hotel is able to happen in phase one, we envision it being closer to the hospital district to serve their needs along with the needs of the ballpark and the fairgrounds.
Who would own it?
Well, the way they typically work, realistically, likely us, unless there's another partner that comes along that would like to. Typically speaking, in a hotel project, as you design the hotel and begin to build it, you go out to an RFP process where you look for other operators that would come in and operate, invest, own, whatever the case is, and that would be our intention on how to handle it.
One final question. So as a parking, we do kind of go through some problems when State Fair here, because we see a lot of people come here from out of town. And we do know like people parking on the grass or trying to get in abandoned building parking spaces just to save money because it's kind of, I guess, prices for them. Are you planning on building a parking garage like in Arlington, or just going to extend some more area nearby? How are you going to do the parking garage?
Mayor, do you want to talk about the Department of Transportation, and I can talk about parking?
We're doing a couple of things. One is what we hope to do is get capital outlay funds from the state, in this legislature, to make the entrance off of Kings Highway more direct, which will open up some additional parking there. I think their phase one includes on-surface parking. Some of the later developments will require some kind of parking garage, but that's a decision to be made. As Sean has said, it's a decision to be made after we see how things go and what the demand for those services are.
Yeah, the mayor is 100%. Our intention is completely on-surface parking through all of phase one. And frankly, most of phase two, realistically too. It's phase three when you create all that density that you have a parking shortage for folks that are coming. And so if you go that route and are able to go vertical, you probably have to put some parking garages in at that phase. But I think we're a long way away from that. I mean, one huge advantage and challenge of the site, frankly, is that it's 137 acres that the city owns here. So that does give opportunity on game day to be parking, and on, for the state fair to have plenty of space to do what they do during the state fair as well.
What is the goal time-wise? When, if somebody said, okay, when will phase one be open? When can I go to a baseball?
24 months from the day we finalize contracts. So we're 6 to 10 months of design and about 14 months of construction. And so realistically, to set realistic expectations, we're saying opening day would be April of 2026. There are some scenarios where we could expedite that to play in 2025. There's a number of challenges to get through that, and I think that'd be an unfair expectation to set today. But if things were to really expedite in the next few months, 2025 would be best case. 2026 is the most realistic case.
When we had you on the radio show before, Sean, I think there was conversation about wagering on independent baseball. I think there's 800 numbers for people who wager on independent baseball, you know. But is there a gambling aspect of this in the future as far as maybe a sports book or something along those lines where you can be at a baseball game and wager on the Dodgers Padres game that night or on the NCAA tournament if you're out here at the hotel? Is there anything along those lines?
I feel like it's incumbent that I say I'm not familiar with Louisiana state laws on what we can and can't do on that front. But I don't think there's any question across the entire country that sports betting seems to be continually on the increase and not changing. So whether that be some kind of fantasy component or whatever goes along with it, no question that we see an increase on that. Whether or not it hasn't been conceptualized in this project at all to date. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great question. In fact, in multiple of our markets, it's a similar median income or lower. And so I believe we have the stats, and I'm afraid I'll butcher it, but I believe the median income in Kinston is $24,000. Does that sound correct? Around that. So that said, yes, we have absolutely looked at the demographics as part of the population study and are really comfortable and really excited about the opportunity. It's a great question, and I think the feasibility study will be better on that. I mean, when you talk about full-time staff and all of those, the numbers aren't massive. You're talking, 10 to 20 full-time staffers. When you talk about seasonal jobs, the numbers climb quite a bit. You're talking 100 plus per event and what that could look like. And you're not just talking baseball. You're obviously talking food service, events, and all the different folks there. There's obviously a number of jobs that come with construction and renovations and things like that. But to give you a hard number today, we just don't have one.
Who's paying for the feasibility study and how much is it going to cost?
The city's paying for the feasibility study. We're in negotiations with a consulting firm named Baker Tilly. It's a large consulting and accounting firm that does this kind of work on a frequent basis, and we're still negotiating their contract. I would guess somewhere in the range of up to $100,000.
What's the source of that money?
That's a question for Mr. Dark later on, but I'm confident we can find the $100,000.
We touched the surface this morning, and I didn't go in deeper with you. You talked about there is a possible Willis Knighton component of money. I see Mr. Crawford here. Do you have a figure in mind of Willis Knighton ponying up some money? They're going to obviously use the hotel. They own part of the fire station. They own fire station. Do you have a figure in mind that you'd like Willis Knighton to bring in a suitcase for you?
Our discussions on all the financial aspects of this are still very preliminary, so I wouldn't be in a position to comment about that.
Mr. Crawford, do you have a figure in mind? You don't want to talk about it?
Yeah, one of the things we commit on all these projects is to ensure that there will always be a $10 option to get into the ballpark. So, and frankly, there'll be a lot less when we do student days and kid days and things like that. So I would say your price will vary between, call it $7 and $10 on the low end, to $25 to $40 on the high end, based on where you're sitting in the ballpark, what amenities come with it, what options. So it's always our intention to have a family of four get in for less than $40. So we'll also partner with local companies to create family days where you can get a 4-pack of tickets, a hot dog, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas. We do a lot of those. We haven't finalized. We don't have a seating chart or a seating manifest by any means yet, but we will have lots of options to sit in berm seating, to just get standing room only type tickets, to get outfield seats, things like that at a great cost. We'll also have all-inclusive tickets that may be on the front row that could be as $40 or more, frankly, and everything in between.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so we will start with one of the most fun things we do at the start of these projects is we'll start with the naming rights, with a naming contest for the community to name the team. I can assure you, because I've done this a few times, like there will be a lot of captains and sports fans on it. There'll also be a lot of different things. There'll probably be some Swamp Dragon fans, whatever there is. There's all kinds of unique ideas that we'll work on to name the team and create a community point of pride, something that people can wear across their chest. With our affiliation with the Texas Rangers, oftentimes there's a concept that we're going to come here and put the Rangers tee everywhere. And I'll be completely honest, that's not of interest to us. What's of interest to us is to create a brand that is indigenous to this market, that is something that people identify with, they get excited about here, that they want to wear across their chest and across their hat and those type things. So, and frankly, the community is going to weigh in on what that looks like. You asked about what other kind of events and things like that. We'll talk about a lot of lifestyle events, tons of camps and clinics, private company events. We've heard a big need for meeting spaces in additional areas. So anything you can think of, we like to tell everybody, if we can get somebody in the stadium or give us a reason to turn the lights on, we're interested.
I grew up in this neighborhood. I grew up playing baseball. You still start coaching.
Can you still throw? Okay, just checking.
Baseball has dropped off in the African community throughout the United States. And I know there was a certain effort with Major League Baseball to get into African communities, especially in terms of stimulating interest, because most of the African descendants who are playing in Major League Baseball are coming from South America and other places. What is your game plan in terms of stimulating interest?
Yeah, it's a great point. It sounds like you're familiar with it already. Major League Baseball has a great program called RBI, which stands for Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities, that they've done a great initiative with. We'll work with our Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation to create ideas and concepts. We're going to work, we've met with quite a few of the folks locally here, the YMCA and Boys and Girls Club, some of those groups, and we'll want to create a number of events. And yeah, that's our goal, is to drive people to the game of baseball, and this will be a big piece of that.
Great. Also letting everyone know, today we've launched ShreveportBallpark.com, so citizens can go on there and find FAQs, renderings that we've shared with you today. There's also submission for a form, so we encourage citizens and everyone to submit inquiries there, and we will respond and look forward to working with everyone as we continue to develop the project. We'll do one-on-ones after if anyone would like to speak with any of the three.
All right, you guys, so that is pretty much the wrap up there on the update of the plans and what will happen to REV Entertainment. It looks like with the new administration, they are still moving forward with what will happen next and moving forward. So that they're just kind of going to wrap up that little area there right now, and just to go over some of the high points and what they talked about. So it's still really in the early stages of planning. So they're just really at the beginning, not even a budget proposal set up yet. It looks like Sean Decker, who was with REV Entertainment, he was a spokesperson for REV Entertainment. He said that one of the promises that they've made to Tom Arsenault was that within the next 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully that they'll have that first budget proposal completed and available to be discussed, and then at that point moving forward. So that's not even done yet, but for those of you who are confused, like, who is REV Entertainment, they're basically a company that does construction of stadiums. They're responsible for the Choctaw Stadium, home of the Rangers, in, I think it's Arlington, Texas. Yes, Arlington. Yes. And so that's what they're responsible for. And, they're looking to bring a ballpark here to the Shreveport area to not only be a home for baseball, they hope to bring an independent, high quality team here. Now, they said ideally it would be best to get an affiliated team, but they got to start somewhere. So starting with an independent team and growing that independent team where the community will be involved in getting a name for that team. They would have a naming contest where the community is involved in creating that, as he called, creating that brand, and that brand that everyone's interested in, wants to buy merch for, and showcase it throughout the community. What will make the biggest impact in the area in regards to showing off this new team, this new organization pride here that they'll bring to the area. Opening day, it looks like, first they need to create that budget proposal. Moving from there, then they said, months later, then 6 to 10 months for the design process, then a few more months for the development. So opening day is looking like April 2026 so far. He said there may be possibility of speeding that up to 2025, but for the looks of it right now, they're looking at opening day to April 2026. So a long time coming. Of course, time can fly by, but looks like, that's quite a few years to wait for this, just to really see the impact of what this ballpark can bring to the area. And of course, he said it's not just about baseball, it's about bringing a facility to the area where events can be hosted. He acknowledged that there are other facilities here in the area that showcase concerts. So maybe not more of a focus on concerts, but of a place where people can meet for conferences or other family-friendly events. They said tickets, they usually start at $10, but they want to encourage family and friends to come out, as they would do ticket sales for like family day or student day, where you can get four hot dogs and a soda or something for your per ticket, things like that. So that economic drive there, that economic impact, really, he said, was also that partnership with college baseball and those private events being that big driving force with the economic impact in the community. And then there was a question that I thought that was interesting. The sports books hopes, like the sports betting world, how can that contribute to this new facility that would come to the area? And of course, he just mentioned that sports betting right now is on the up and up. It's increasing, it's growing. Right now, it's not in the plans for what this facility will be, but he's not counting it out as something that maybe can be added later on. So I think those were really just the main high points right there in regards to all that they talked about. Really, I think the main thing was that they're moving forward. They're excited. They see the beneficial economic impact for the community. There's still a lot of planning and discussion and things that need to be worked out until we can really, as a community, see this come to fruition. Also, I think I want to point out one more thing: the status of the demolition of the Fairgrounds Field. That was also addressed, and Mayor Tom Arsenault said that it's currently in limbo because of litigation, but he also assured and said very positively and confidently that with the transaction with REV Entertainment of this facility, that it will for sure be demolished. So that was the last point there. Thank you guys all for tuning in. For more details on this story, head on over to ktalnews.com. You can also download the KTAL News Now app so that you can receive push notifications, always get notified when we are going live, breaking news, and reporting on the stories that matter to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.